Diamonites is a community-based organization that is working to promote sports education and culture within the Diamond Village community and its surrounding areas. The organization will host the first ever Miss Dynamite's Independence Princess pageant, planned as a means of celebrating our country's 43rd independence on the 4th of November 2022. The pageant will showcase five beautiful young ladies representing five of our well known historical sites in SVG between the ages of 9 to 12. The contestants are Miss Botanical Garden, Latanya Shallow of Diamond Village, Miss Lasso Frere Tyra Sandy, also of Diamond Village, Miss Darkview, Miss Darkview Falls, Bianca De Silva from New Grounds, Miss Black Point Heritage Park, Dejani Peters, and Miss Fort Charlotte L'Ariel Durant of Diamond Village. This pageant is scheduled to take place on the 4th of November 2022 at the Sanssouci Hard Court. Diamondites has recently held a number of activities which includes Launch on Family Fun Day, April 30th, Bingo on the Square, May and October 2022, Fish Fest 2022, May 21st, Emancipation Vigil and Cultural Rally July 31st, and the successful Diamond Village football competition, which concluded on August 28, 2022. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is discussing the possibility of granting duty-free concessions to minibus operators who provide service between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. During an interview with the Agency for Public Information API, Gonzalez said this initiative is becoming more urgent as the government finalizes a system for the transportation of nurses on a long-term basis. Additionally, with economic growth expected with more hotels and entertainment spots, more workers in the hospitality industry would require such a service. Therefore, a reliable public transportation system is critical. The Prime Minister also stated a system is being implemented on a short-term basis where the transportation from within the Ministry of Health will be used to accommodate nurses who work late shifts. Gonzalez concluded it is a question now of implementing a 100% duty-free concession to minibus operators who operate routes after 6 p.m. until 7 a.m. next morning. Still on the local scene, a bill for an act to establish a medical laboratories council was passed in the House of Assembly on Tuesday, October 25th, 2022. This new legislation is set to regulate the licensing and monitoring of medical laboratories to ensure medical labs meet international standards and can provide reliable and accurate information through their services. Minister of Health, St. Clair Prince, said this is critical as there is an increase in the number of public and private labs in the country, and since lab results determine diagnosis and treatment, the quality of the labs must be of the highest standards. Prince stated, "We know that a lab result is only as accurate as the quality of the lab system that it provides. This is important. We never had any laws before to deal with these issues at that level." The health minister said the passage of the bill into law would ensure that tests are reliable and done under the strictest measures, removing any doubt of their accuracy. We should not have to be worried or uncertain about our test results or even about the laboratory itself. But if they remain unmonitored, unregulated, we will never be sure, Prince said. Currently, government has 3 laboratories operational, with 4 more to come on stream soon, and there are currently 6 that are privately owned and operated. In the region, the outlook for global labor markets has worsened in recent months, and on current trends, job vacancies will decline and global employment will decrease significantly in the final quarter of 2022. This is according to a new report from the International Labour Organization, ILO, which states rising inflation is causing wages to fall in many countries. This comes on top of significant declines in income during the COVID 19 crisis, which in many countries affected low income groups most. The ILO Monitor on the World of Work 10th edition finds that worsening labor market conditions are affecting both employment creation and the quality of jobs, pointing out that there are already data suggesting a sharp slowdown in the labor market. According to the monitor, a set of multiple and overlapping crises, compounded by the Ukraine war and subsequent negative spillover effects, have materialized over 2022, which are deeply impacting the world of work. The effects are being felt through food and energy inflation, declining real wages, growing inequality, shrinking policy options, and higher debt in developing countries. A slowdown in economic growth and aggregate demand will also reduce demand for workers and as uncertainty and worsening expectations affect hiring. At the beginning of 2022, the number of global hours worked was recovering strongly, notably in higher skilled occupations and among women. However, this was driven by an increase in informal jobs, jeopardizing the 15-year trend towards formalization. The situation worsened over the course of the year, and in the third quarter of 2022, ILO estimates are that the levels of hours worked was 1.5% below pre-pandemic levels, amounting to a deficit of 40 million full-time jobs. More in the region, the COVID 19 pandemic continues to exact a heavy toll on society, as seen in mounting cases of mental health issues and other physical ailments. In order to raise awareness and better enable society to provide the needed support, St. Lucia's Community Service Unit of the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment held a capacity building exercise at the Human Resource Development Center, HRDC, in Bellevue on Thursday, October 27, 2022, to sensitize social transformation officers on cancer and mental health issues. The sensitization program, in observance of World Mental Health Day and Breast Cancer Awareness Month, observed on October 10th and October 1st to 31st annually, sought to impart knowledge and equip social transformation officers, STOs, with the relevant tools to strengthen community group support systems, create a sense of belonging, and reduce any stigma around the two illnesses. Officer in charge of the Community Services Unit, Kendall Elver, emphasized the importance of being knowledgeable about the clinical aspect of both cancer and mental health. According to Mr. Elver, with the issue of breast cancer, people need to diagnose very early, as research shows that early detection increases the survival rate. As STOs, we need to understand the various aspects of mental health as well as breast cancer to better implement programs to support vulnerable families in need of assistance. In 2020, more than 2.3 million women were diagnosed with breast cancer, and over 970 million people worldwide were affected by a mental disorder. For both breast cancer and mental health, people often suffer in silence while their conditions go undiagnosed or untreated. And finally, on the international scene, the US Supreme Court is set to hear two cases that could drastically change the extent to which universities can consider an applicant's race during the admissions process. The final ruling could end decades of policies designed to help applicants previously seen to face discrimination. The cases concern admission at Harvard and the University of North Carolina in regards to their admissions policies, which consider race among many factors when evaluating applications. The policies are designed to boost the number of Black and Hispanic students and are intended to ensure minority groups are fairly represented among university student bodies. The plaintiffs, a nonprofit group called Students for Fair Admissions, accuse Harvard of discriminating against Asian American applicants in order to boost representation from other groups. In the University of North Carolina's case, The same group argues the college's use of race in its admission process violates the U.S. Constitution as well as federal civil rights laws that cover public universities. The court's 9 justices will hear oral arguments in both cases today, with decision expected at the end of the court's current term in July 2023. This has been WeFM's 3 p.m. news. I have been your presenter, Jessica Klein. Join us again at 5:30 for WeFM's evening news, and we thank you for listening.
That could have been you. An accident that could have been avoided because your tires had almost no grip on the road. Safety is a factor that should never be